Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with On Point Politics, your #1 stop for all things polling and election analysis in the United States. And today we're going to be doing a new forecast prediction for the 2024 presidential election. But before we get into the video, guys, I want to mention who this video is actually dedicated to. Cartier Family is a group of young African-American men who've recently gotten into the political space and even managed to go to the RNC this year where Donald Trump was nominated. They've also reacted to Eminem songs, Family Guy laughing challenges, and much more. And so if you guys want to have a channel that you can just kind of relax and go have a good laugh with them, make sure to go check them out. But the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to actually explain to them what's going on in this election. A lot of the times they react to polling videos and it's just, oh, look, I'm going to fill out this color because, oh, the poll says she's leading here. And they are like, I don't really think this makes any sense.
Every single poll, Kamala is winning. But on the economy poll, she's not. That's confusing to me.
I don't even know who the hell they polling.
And they're right. It doesn't make any sense. And so today, I'm basically going to dedicate this video to them to explain to them what is exactly going on in this election from the work that I've done in the past 4 years. So essentially, guys, the way you guys watch videos in terms of a pollster being like, okay, so we have her leading here, that's the wrong way to look at it. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but once I explain it, you guys will understand it. There's a lot of underlying factors in these presidential elections that the media will never talk about because they're not going to try to be accurate. They're trying to persuade one side or the other. And so I've actually developed a model that not only was basically perfect, but essentially has a very low margin of error. This is my 2020 election map model. Literally gets Joe Biden with 306 electoral college votes to Donald Trump's 232, the exact result that happened on election day, and basically had an average error of about 0.4% Democrat. So even me being a quote-unquote right-leaning biased channel, my 2020 model still leans to the left in some states. So for like example, my margin in Wisconsin was about 1.5% for Biden. It actually ended up being 0.6%. Some states like DC, I overestimated Republicans by 2, but you guys get the point, right? Like I was able to create something that was actually basically 100% accurate. I mean, you couldn't have done any better. And here I kind of have the model working here, and you can see that the average error comes out to 0.4% when rounded out. You know, everything is basically about a point or two off, essentially at most. I don't think I have any state that has an error above 3 points, which is fairly impressive. So everything was practically within the margin of error, and all these other modelers and forecasters had Iowa and Ohio basically competitive for Joe Biden. They had Texas as a toss-up. Florida was leaning Biden. The Rust Belt was a lock in 2020. These same people said that Missouri and Kansas were competitive for Hillary in 2016. But I'm here to tell you guys that the media is not talking about the true state of this race. I'm here to tell you guys that Donald Trump is actually not only winning the election, but he's leading the popular vote by multiple points. And I'm going to prove it to you guys today and your audience as well.
That's confident.
And so looking at this, guys,
he better than CNN.
The fact that it shows he was like, my last one was 99% or 100% or whatever accurate, and I lean right, and I overestimated for the left, for the Democrats. So it's like,
he's put together.
You want off numbers, you got Excel and these things pulled up.
Yeah, he's got an insane system that is it takes a lot of knowledge to put together, and I respect you, brother, because this
we couldn't have did this.
No facts. This time that you've taken to dedicate this video.
Subscribe to him, man.
Yeah, man. Shout out On Point Politics, man. Go check out our boy. This is phenomenal. This is pretty cool.
This is insane, bro. He put some hours in.
No,
I wonder what type of research he did.
I like seeing that this model that he's constructed.
Here we go, guys. Let's start the map. So Donald Trump essentially is going to be winning Utah by a safe margin, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, the North Dakotas, as well as, well, in South Dakota as well as all of Nebraska except the 2nd congressional district. That state, as well as Maine up here, split their votes by congressional district for whatever reason. So Nebraska 2nd tends to be a little bit more Democrat, so we'll fill that out later. Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Missouri, Indiana, as well as Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia,
South Carolina,
as well as South Carolina and Alaska, and Maine's second congressional district are all safe. Kansas, South Carolina, Maine 2nd, and Alaska were both all under 15-point victories in the last election cycle and are now in the safe column. But we also have more states to add into the safe column, those being Iowa and Ohio. If the nation popular vote is shifting from Biden plus 4.5 to Trump plus 3, these states have been trending to the right, meaning they've been moving more Republican compared to how the nation moves. And so if the electorate or the popular vote's essentially Republican plus 3 or Trump plus 3, really Iowa and Ohio are both going to be over 15-point wins for the former president. And more than likely, this is a super surprising thing for a lot of people, but the same thing with Texas. Texas would actually be over a 15-point margin in the Electoral College, which is actually where my model has it right now. I mean, literally, that's exactly where it is right now. It's a little bit above 15 points, a 15.7 percentage point margin in the Electoral College as of right now. For the safe Democrat states, we have the state of California at just about 20-ish points for Kamala, which isn't great, 21 percentage point lead. Joe Biden won it by 29, so it's shifting with the nation at large. Wow. We also have the state of Vermont, Massachusetts, Maryland, and D.C. Those states are 2 Democrat.
Yeah,
makes sense. That's essentially it. And if we go to Hawaii, guys, I mean, that one is almost under 15 points. That state's been shifting to the right quite a bit. And with the Maui fires that occurred there, it's really, really not a great sign at all for her. I mean, it can actually be under a 15-point win. I wouldn't be surprised if she underperforms here. I don't expect Donald Trump to win the state, however. So, going to the likely Republican states, Donald Trump is winning Florida by around 13 points. The state was a 3.5-point win last time for Donald Trump, but given the shift in the popular vote, given the state's trend with Hispanic voters in a place like Miami-Dade and across the state, and the fact Ron DeSantis won very easily, and also the fact that Republican registrations are now on net like 1,050,000 essentially at this point. So like it's like over 1 million Republican net registrations over Democrats. And in 2020 on Election Day, Democrats had an 80,000 vote advantage. So the state's got in deep, deep red since 4 years ago. And so on election night, guys, do not be paying attention for Florida to see how the rest of the country is doing, because it is basically not even voting with the nation anymore. Florida is not the swing state that it used to be, and it is now going to be around a 13-point win for Donald Trump. Now, looking at North Carolina, this is going to be a massive win compared to last time. It was around a 1.3 percentage point victory in the last election. Now, looking at the state at large, we see that the state is actually voting for Donald Trump by 8.6 percentage points, which is fairly interesting because this has been sort of a leaning Republican state. Obama was able to pick it off in 2008 due to very high African-American turnout, but has basically been Republican pretty much except in 1976 when Jimmy Carter won the state by around 11 points.
Wow.
And when back then it used to be a more of a
that was crazy
deep blue state in the South. But it's been a leaning Republican DNA state for quite a while, and Trump still won it by a point, despite everything basically going wrong for him in 2020. I mean, this was not a healthy political environment for him, and he still carried it out in North Carolina. And so, more than likely, he is going to massively improve, especially with him getting a little bit over 15% of the black vote nationwide. It's definitely going to help him in North Carolina. In Georgia, in the likely Republican column as well, guys. I mean, yes, Biden did win the state by 0.2%. But again, Donald Trump, as we all see earlier during this video, he's performing 8 points better in the popular vote. And with Donald Trump increasing his black vote share, Hispanic vote share, which there's a lot of them in Atlanta, as well as his non-college vote, which...
What you was going to say?
I was going to say the only reason everything else was blue was because of Black Lives Matter. If that didn't happen...
That was a huge thing.
If that didn't happen...
That might, a lot of states could have, especially Georgia.
Tends to be a lot of white working class voters that have, sort of laborious jobs and whatnot. A lot of truckers, a lot of people that kind of have their own self businesses and whatnot. Those type of people that didn't go to college are really not favoring Kamala Harris. She's had a really hard time with that demographic. And so we see a lot of strides in a place like Georgia for Donald Trump. Same thing in Arizona and Nevada. Yes, even Nevada is in the likely Republican column despite it going to Joe Biden last time. And you guys may be like, whoa, there's no way that Trump's going to win Nevada by that margin. Over 5 points, that's ridiculous.
That is crazy.
Clark County has the majority of the population in the state. They have a culinary workers union that just endorsed Donald Trump, and it's about 80,000 members there. And not only that, the no tax on tips policy from Donald Trump is a direct play to the people in Nevada, in Arizona, those minority, basically working class voters that tend to work in the service industry like restaurants. That's a direct play to them. And even content creators, the no tax on tips policy actually would even apply to super chats as well, by the way. So that's even a play to them too, which I think is pretty cool. So really, he's doing so well in the popular vote, and with those sort of demographics that he's running it up in the Sun Belt, and he is one state away from winning. Now, before we get to that, I want to get to some of the deeper blue states, but are not as blue as they were last time. Washington and Oregon are no longer safe. They're in the likely Democrat column. They're coming in roughly as about, 12-point victories and 10-point victories, respectively. So they're still going to be Democrat, but they're going to be a lot closer than the 19 and 16-point win you saw just about 4 years ago. Looking at Colorado, that's going to be a likely margin. It was about a 13.5-point win last time. Currently, the election model has it as just about a 9-point win in the state. So Donald Trump is going to improve there, but not as much as any other states. Colorado is actually the only state where Democrats have netted voter registration because they have a very popular Democrat governor over there, the same way that Florida had Ron DeSantis. It's sort of the same thing in a way. Illinois is interesting because it is in the likely column, and Cook County, Chicago, you're going to see a massive shift there. Even polls with Trump and Biden had the race under 10 points when Biden was leading it. They'll never tell you that in the mainstream media. They'll never tell you that there was polls that had Joe Biden leading by under 10 points in Illinois. And so my modeling for the state still has the under 15, and you have a lot of working class voters, and you have a lot of people that are pissed off about the immigration issue in Illinois. I mean, we all know that's true.
Illinois.
I think if Ohio went red, I think Illinois is going to go red.
Chicago, all them people in Chicago going to vote left.
I don't think it'll go red.
Bro, it's too many of them complaining about the situation.
That's going to help. I think it'll be blue, but not by as much because of that.
Yeah, I think it'll be closer.
So who else you think going to vote? I said, like, all them people that's on the south side complaining in Chicago.
They still going to say Trump going to put us in chains?
Yeah, you're an idiot.
I don't think so.
I think you're overestimating that for sure. I think they're idiots. Like, I don't think they're like smart enough to say, "Oh, let's vote Trump." Well, I mean, it's been blue. It's been blue for years, bro. Like, I don't believe that'll change just because they have an issue. I think certain districts might be red, but the whole state, no way, no way. I think that is a gross overestimation. I think there's just no way.
In my heart, I kind of do believe. I'm just seeing. You got the mayor,
Don't hit me
Tiffany.
with the my heart, McCullough.
No, I'm keeping it. You got mayors like Tiffany.
His model, which was 99% accurate, says it'll be blue.
I ain't hear you with I'm just going off what I've seen on the internet.
In my heart,
but we going off the numbers.
We going off facts. Too many niggas in Illinois.
Too many.
I'm just playing.
It's true.
But North Carolina's
a lot of people that are pissed off about the immigration issue in Illinois. I mean, we all know that's true. In New York, it's the same thing. Yes, guys, New York is under a 15-point victory for Kamala Harris. I actually have her only winning the state by 9 points, guys. And the reason why is because there was a poll that came out with about a 12-point lead for Harris, but they oversampled Democrats in the polling. And New York actually has one of the worst polling errors out of any state. I mean, they missed Trump's margin of defeat by about 8 to 12 points depending on the poll, meaning that they still overestimated Joe Biden in a deep blue state, and they are on track to do it again because when you reweigh the poll from the New York Times that had a 12-point lead for Kamala Harris, when you reweigh it to the actual party electorate from 2020, Donald Trump is tied with Kamala Harris in that poll. Now, again, we don't really have a lot of polling out of there. It's literally just 2 polls from the New York Times / Siena College, and the polling that I did was SoCal Strategies, which, by the way, guys, make sure to go to the description down below and donate to the fund for SoCal Strategies. We are polling individual states in October as well as the national level, so any support would be greatly appreciated. Now, going back to the map, we are seeing that New York is going to be competitive, and, you know, Connecticut, Delaware, Rhode Island, New Jersey are also going to be all under, you know, a few points as well. And Maine's first is also going to be in the likely Democrat column. And to essentially wrap this up, Wisconsin and Pennsylvania would also be likely margins, which essentially keeps Kamala Harris out of the White House, and Donald Trump wins and gets over 270 electoral votes. And if Donald Trump's winning all these states by over 5 points, it's actually going to be a pretty early night. We'll probably know who wins by about 12 a.m., 1 a.m., if he's really winning these states by this margin. And in my modeling as well, Michigan is going to be in the lean Republican column, as well as Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. We see New Mexico and Virginia are much closer than their 2020 counterparts. New Mexico voted for Biden by 11 points, Virginia by 10 points. But now I actually have New Mexico as only a 1.5 point win for Kamala Harris, because Hispanic voters have been moving to the right. The only reason why it's still voting Democrat here is because Albuquerque has a lot of white liberals, and that area's kind of been moving more left over time. And the state of Virginia is also interesting too, because Glenn Youngkin, a Republican, got elected there in 2021 in an upset victory. He's got a very high approval rating, and he's been telling everybody that Donald Trump has a real shot in Virginia, and he signed a law to basically make the state a paper ballot only state. So there's no electronic voting in Virginia anymore. And so that is pretty good for election integrity purposes. And so with all that combined, as well as the fact that people in Virginia are pissed off about, you know, essentially stuff that's going on in schools and what they're teaching children, all of that combined with a popular Republican governor is helping Donald Trump in the state. Now, is he going to win it? Probably not. It's probably going to be a 2 to 3 point win for Kamala Harris, but it's definitely going to be a lot more competitive than what the mainstream media will even tell you. Maine at large, New Hampshire, and Minnesota, these are kind of rough because right now we're a little bit iffy about these. I'd say Minnesota is still about a 1.5 point win for Harris. It's going to be closer than usual. It may even be a tilt margin, which is currently where I have it in my model right now, but it's still going to go to Kamala Harris. Now, New Hampshire is interesting because this state and Maine at large have more independents than states like Minnesota, Virginia, and New Mexico. And since Donald Trump's improved the independents by 10 to 15 points, depending on the poll, you will see it in a place like Maine and New Hampshire. And so since he's winning the popular vote by 3 in this video, I am actually going to narrowly give both of these to him right now. I currently have these states about a 1.5 points, essentially half a point to a point victory for Kamala. But since he is up in the popular vote in this video by 3, and so as of right now, guys, Donald Trump is winning 319 electoral college votes to Kamala Harris's 219.
Let's go.
If you guys want to see the biggest sign that things are shifting dramatically, is this poll that was done in a Notre Dame, poll of students. In 2020, they polled the same students, and they got a 37-point lead for Biden, which is fairly normal. And they polled after the debate, September 15th to the 18th, and what do you see? Donald Trump is leading Kamala Harris in this university poll by 2 points. He netted 3.
Let's go.
Wow.
Let's go, baby.
That was an awesome video,
they're
dude.
probably definitely not a right-leaning school.
That was an awesome video,
Well,
dude.
it's a Catholic school, though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
so
Notre Dame.
On
Notre
point
Dame.
politics.
Man, shout out, bro, man. This was a great video.
That was a great video. Very informational.
No, very informational. I love
Well
that you explained it.
Yeah.
I love that you broke it down. I love that you had the
I like
specifics.
the how it looked with the
No, facts. It was very easy to watch and
He could be a
digest for
teacher.
sure.
They need
No,
to
that
put
was
him on
good.
TV.
That was good, man.
This the
That was
real
great.
poll.
Yeah.
You did a great
The
job
fact
there.
that his 2020 poll was close.
No, it was
That's absurd,
extremely
man.
accurate.
Wow.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, that was great,
cap.
bro.
All right, let's have outliers. Y'all don't think Chicago really ain't gonna turn red?
No.
You think
Anyways,
them niggas are that
this
dumb?
guy's very credible, guys. He's done polls for
I'm not gonna
Value
say they're dumb.
Entertainment.
I think it's just
Bro,
decided
Chicago is the
already.
third largest city.
Yeah, that's not even nothing to talk about.
It's
bro.
way
I mean,
bigger
the
than
US.
Houston. Like,
So
So
it's already
y'all
decided.
really think they gonna say, well, we
Yes.
have a problem
Brother.
here, and
Yes.
we'll just continue to bring the problem?
Kamala
Yes.
is going. If you ask this dude, what is it, of all black people, what percent of them will vote for Kamala compared to it's going to still
We'll
be
never
over
get that.
70%.
Didn't we
Yeah.
talk to
70% of black people going to vote for Kamala.
Patriots Prayer? When we talk about Illinois, and wasn't we? I don't know. Maybe I'm tweaking. No,
I don't remember what we talked about. It was a while ago.
No, yeah, this guy's very credible, guys. He's done polls for Value Entertainment and a lot of people, man. Go follow him, subscribe to him if you want accurate polls.
Man, that was good.
If you like these videos, let us know. We might do some more, guys. Yeah, this was cool. We're out of here.
Yes, sir.